Hey guys, Slap Attack here, and welcome to my E50M review. Alright guys, so in the first half of the video, I will be going over the statistics and the armor profile, so you guys can determine the strengths as well as the weaknesses of the E50M. Alright guys, so let's go over the mobility of the E50M as it is a medium. So, the E50M possesses a 1200 horsepower engine, allowing it to cruise at a maximum speed of 60 kilometers per hour and reversing a maximum speed of 20 kilometers per hour. Now, the E50M has a traverse speed of 44 degrees per second, which is quite amazing considering the huge weight of this medium. Speaking of weight, guys, the maximum weight limit on the E50M is 62.67 tons, which makes it more than some tier 10 heavy tanks. Now, this incredible weight plus its 60 kilometers an hour speed limit makes it one of the best ramming machines in the game. Alright, so now let's talk about the armaments on the E50M. So, its standard rounds are APCR, and its premium shells are heat, and the APCR shells and the heat shells have an average damage of 390, whereas the HE shells have an average damage of 510. So one thing that the E50M suffers from is its rate of fire, coming in at 6.25 rounds per minute. While it's definitely not as good as its brother, the Leopard 1, you exchange all of that for accuracy and aim time. Now its accuracy is 0.3 and the aim time is 2.1 seconds, making it a very quick, hard-hitting, accurate tank. Now, one thing that definitely surprised me about the E50M is its elevation arc, especially for being a German tank. This gun has 8 degrees of gun depression and 20 degrees of gun elevation, and its turret traverse speed is 30 degrees per second, which is quite average for a medium, and its ammo capacity is 48 rounds. Alright guys, so now you're looking at the collision model of the E50M. So if you want a fast, heavily armored tank, then the E50M is definitely the way to go. I cannot recommend this tank enough because it has some of the heaviest armor in the game for a medium tank at tier 10. Now, let's look at the frontal plate here, and we see we have 150 millimeters of armor, which might not sound like much, but if you look into the armor penetration profile, you'll see that you get around 250 to, I'd say, around 260 millimeters of effective armor on this tank. Now, if you angle it, you'll get around 270 to 280 to almost 300 if you angle it enough. Now, make sure you don't over-angle it because that's something I had to learn the hard way. Now, let's go back to the collision model of this tank, and as you can see, we have 100 millimeters on the lower plate, which might not sound like much again, but the effective armor, I'd say, gives it around, let's check, around 200 millimeters. So there you go. Now, let's move over to the side here. As you can see, we have 80 millimeters on the very top of this side, you could say. Now, I suggest you, if you want to take out an E50M, aim for the the higher part of the side plate, I guess you could say, because at the lower plate, as you can see here, we have 80 millimeters plus the suspension, which is 25 millimeters, so it will basically be going through 105 millimeters of armor, but the effective armor on this tank is around 110, as you can see, like I said. So definitely go through the much thinner part, which is the top of the side armor, if you want to take out the E50M effectively. Now moving over at the rear here, we can see we have 80 millimeters, so basically your side is your rear, so just keep that in mind. Alright guys, so now let's take a look at the turret armor of this tank. So, coming in at the front, or I guess you could say the cheeks of this tank, we have 185 millimeters of armor, which is definitely not much, and tier 10 and tier 9 tanks can just rip straight through that. So make sure you keep moving around and hope that they actually hit your gun mantlet, because the gun mantlet actually covers up most of your turret. So make sure you hit that very thick part. Now, the gun mantlet, or the gun protection, I guess you could say, has 5 layers of it. So the first layer is 185 millimeters of armor, and second layer 80 millimeters, and again we have another 185 millimeters, and behind the 185 millimeters we have 120 millimeters, and behind that we have 185 millimeters. So they will probably most likely not be able to go through that. So make sure you keep moving around, and maybe they'll probably hit your giant gun mantlet that's covering up most of the turret armor. So Moving around the side here, we have 80 millimeters of armor, so that's definitely not much. So angling your turret might not be the best decision in the world. Now the back here we have 80 millimeters, and as you can see, this little hatch, I guess you could say, is 80 millimeters as well. So at the top, I don't really think you need to worry about that because there's no artillery in the game yet, hopefully never. But as you can see, we have 40 millimeters at the top, and this little hatch right here is 150 millimeters. So it's not all weak, but it definitely is much thinner and much easier to go through than the cheeks of the tank, or maybe the mantlet, I guess you could say. Now, most tanks, I'd say, firing heat or APCR can go through the side armor of this tank just by facing it head on, but if, as I said, if you keep moving around, they will probably not be able to hit it, as the target is very small. Now, you definitely can hit this top port if they're still, but as I said again, keep moving in this tank if you're hull down, because you do not want them to hit, get lucky and hit some weak parts of your turret. So the E50M definitely does have its weak points, but as I said, if you keep moving around, they will not be able to hit you, and maybe they'll hit your gun mantlet, which is a very high chance because a lot of tanks tend to do that. So that's pretty much it for the armor profile of this tank. So now let's get into some actual gameplay of the E50M. Alright guys, so now we are playing E50M on Lost Temple, and Lost Temple is such a great map for the E50M as it allows you to use your fairly strong turret armor and very, very good hull armor to your advantage if you get into a hull down position, which is most likely, as this map provides a lot of cover and a lot of good hull down positions. Now I'm heading over to the middle part of the temple, I guess you could say, or the town, because it's such a great place for mediums. It allows you to control the pace of the battle and put side shots into the heavies and tank destroyers, given that your allies are actually shooting them from the front and taking hits. Now, unfortunately, I overestimate the turret traverse speed on 50M when I put one right to the boxes on the left, but no worries because there is an IS-7 caught out in the open, and we get to put side shots into him. So 2 side shots already into the side of the IS-7. Very, very nice there. And are we going to put another one in? No, we're not going to. And oh my goodness, that clutch shot though. Just look at the accuracy of the E50M. Can we put another shot to these guys? And we did. Oh my goodness, just look at the accuracy and precision of this tank. Absolutely beautiful. And we shut down the object 268 as he is caught out of position, and I think we can finish off our poor IS-7 friend who was caught out in the open ever since the beginning of the battle. And 2 kills already in a minute of the battle. Just absolutely fantastic start to the game. It looks like the Panzer's over-angling his side, allowing us to put a shot into his side there. Now I hesitate a bit, thinking that the T-62A will put a shot into my turret, but he never does, so I shouldn't worry about that. I hesitate, and it takes me too long to figure out that I should probably not worry about him. So unfortunately, I do not penetrate the Panzer side again. Now, we do put another shot into the machine gun port, or the top ports of the Panzer E100, and just look at the accuracy. Just look at the shoot accuracy. I would not be able to do that in a lot of tanks. Anyways, we have a T-44 who's shooting us, obviously bouncing. And thank goodness we didn't take a risk there and shoot that 44, because now we have an opportunity to shoot that T-54, and we shut him down. Now, I'm trying to bait a shot into this object 704 here, put a shot into him, and he bounces. I don't think he ever would have been able to penetrate my frontal plate there. We have a 44 who pops out in the open, put a shot right before he retreats back into cover, and a T-62A, not sure what he's doing, but we do not have enough gun depression, so we angle our tank upwards and are allowed to get a shot into his side just before he gets killed. Now, so far we have 4 kills. That's a Top Gun. Maybe we can go for Rosanis. That would be amazing. We put another shot into the side of that Panzer, and we go for the port again. Another shot. Just look at the accuracy on this tank. Absolutely beautiful. And that's really what this replay is all about. Just showing you guys the accuracy of this tank. And oh, disaster ensues. And as you can see there, I'm just like, my first missed shot, or not my first missed shot, but my first bad shot. Besides the boxes anyway. Just forget about the boxes. We're up to 5 kills, and oh no. Our T-30 takes away our Rosanis. Oh, I fired him. Oh well, no worries, because the pool's mental is just enough to do the trick, and I was quite satisfied with that game. Unfortunately, could not get the Rosanis, but it's just sometimes you can't be in one place. You can't play at multiple places at once, and we did 4.6k damage, got a pool's medal, scout medal, sniper, and first class, so that was quite a good game there. I think if I would have done a bit more damage, I would have got a mastery, but that's okay, because I was satisfied with that game. Anyways, moving on to the next game, we are in Winter Malanovka, and this is about to be a very exciting game. Alright guys, so if you look at the opposition here, we have all mediums. So they're all mediums. That's great. So fortunately for us, the E50M is a great brawler and very good against mediums. So I didn't show you guys the names of the actual players that we're playing against, but we are going up against very stiff opposition. That's all I can tell you here. So I try to angle my armor against the T-54, and looks like he's firing heat there. Probably a bit unnecessary, but you know, whatever works for him. So I load heat here to go through his turret because I knew I'd have to, and unfortunately I think we hit the gun mantlet of his tank, so we are not able to penetrate. Now, basically, this is where my controls aren't exactly tuned in because I'm playing on someone else's account. So my controls, I'm not blaming it on the controls. I'm just simply saying I miss a lot of. I miss the fire button actually quite a few times, and the aim button. So anyways, we put our first shot into FP4-202's turret, and we put another shot into his very weak turrets. And looks like the T-54 missed his very expensive heat shell. Ooh, yes, we're wasting credits. No. Anyways, we put another shot into that FP4-202, and we're just punishing him right now. And looks like we are bouncing so many shots. Just look at the armor on the E50M against mediums. Just look how effective it is. And as you can see there, I actually missed the fire button on that previous shot. Good grammar. Anyways, seems like our opponents have pulled back, except for the E50M here. So we put another shot to his turret. Now he's just one shot away from an insta-kill, and looks like he's back for more, but alas, we cannot take him. So I track the M48 pad just to kind of get him over that ridgeline so my allies can put shots into him, but looks like they're a bit too slow, and now he's just bouncing off his turret, and that was a very novice shot of me. I'm very sorry there. That just made a ton of people facepalm, but I'm very sorry about that shot. Anyways, hopefully we can redeem ourselves, and we put another shot into a very, very small part of the M48 pad's turret. And looks like the enemy team is just falling apart here, so we put a shot and finishing off the FP4-202, and looks like T-54. We're moving over to kill the T-54, but unfortunately we do not. And looks like we hit the track there of that Object 140, so we are not able to penetrate, but now he is caught out in the open. And, you know, if you're an E50M going at this kind of speed, you might as well. That was one of the most unnecessary rams of all time, but, you know, you're playing an E50M, so you might as well. Anyways, we have a T-44, excuse me, again, so I try to fire on the move there, but I'm just rocking up and down on this tank thanks to the ridge lines of Winter Malanovka, so I am unable to put a shot into him. But anyways, we put another shot into him, and I don't know, might as well. We just barely skid him, and we track him in the process, but he just spins out. Just look at that. Did you see that? The tortoise finishes him off. So unfortunately, we did not get to reload in time, and unfortunately, due to the slow reload of this tank, not super slow, but I'm just saying slower than most mediums, we are not able to finish him off, but the tortoise does. So anyways, we're heading on over to the T-54, and hopefully he doesn't kill our T-54 friend, and we are able to rescue him in time, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Or is it? Okay? So they're just bouncing each other. Maybe they're just face-hugging each other, because that's what T-54s do. They just start, you know, face-hugging and side-hugging to death. But as you can see, they're still brawling it out. We bounce off the T-54's frontal plate there. That was quite some RNG there. Anyways, I put a shot into him. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, now I put a shot into him, and I ram him to death just before the E100 steals my kill. Alright, so that was pretty much it for this review, guys. I guess you could say, finishing a shot with a ram E50M style, because that's just how the E50M rolls. I really should just make some kind of E50M ramming montage, but alas, that is it for this review, guys. We did 5,000 damage there with 3 kills under our belt, so that was a very good game, guys. We earned a total of 1,400, just under 1,400 XP. Anyways, guys, that is pretty much it for this review. So I do hope you guys enjoyed, and I do hope I convinced you to maybe get the E50M, because I do highly recommend this tank. That's why I reviewed it. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.